something that maybe all animals do or should do or need to do in order to keep their nervous and energetic systems clear and clean, well regulated, strong, healthy nervous energetic systems. And whereas most of us animals in today's world just kind of spin in endless circles of noise, this practice, this idea of orienting to body and space would invite us to actually slow way down, slow way down, and come back to make contact with the body. Come right back down here into the body. That means away from here, away from like the spinning in circles, the existing in like a whirlwind of noise, a whirlwind of thought stories and noise, most of it, best way to describe it, noise, until it's not. Thoughts do arise on behalf of a purer self, let's say, but until they do, most of it is just the noisy static of the ego personality spinning. So this practice invites us to come way out of that and like down into the body, way down into here, into the body. It means you can't exist in a swirl of noise. You have to be embodied. That's what this means, embodied. To be embodied is a cliche idea thrown around a lot these days, I'm sure, in the spiritual communities and social media land, to be embodied. But what does that actually mean? It's not just a lofty idea. So let's go there. Let's just go right into that. I don't even want to spend any more time talking. I don't want to talk about Tantra yet. I don't want to start breaking down all the things. Otherwise, we sit here for, you know me, if you've done stuff with me, we'll sit here for hours and I'll just keep talking. So I'm going to try to keep this simpler and just give it to you in pieces over the weeks and months and maybe years that come. Cool? Ready to orient? What does this mean? We're going to start by orienting to the body in space. We're going to start with a very simple, very natural, very fundamental to being a mammal, to being an animal, to being a creature with a nervous system. So just think like any animal, as it moves from moment to moment, space to space, would be sort of naturally doing this, just tuning into what is. So as we tune into what is, and I'll guide you through this, part of this that I really want you to notice is how the nervous system responds to this, to you doing this. You really notice what happens as you very intentionally make contact with the reality of what is, let's call it, which is existing right here in this moment, in this space, at this time. So you can do this with your eyes open or closed. In fact, if it's comfortable, let's begin with the eyes closed, and then as we expand the orienting beyond the body into the space around us, then I'll invite you to open the eyes so you can orient to the visual field, to the objects there. But it might be more comfortable for you to begin with the eyes closed. If that's not comfortable, then don't begin with the eyes closed. It doesn't matter. Super simple. We're not going to make a big deal out of this thing. This is just about making contact, intentionally, knowingly making contact with the feeling of my own body existing here. Begin there. I like to begin at the ground because it's such an amazing resource to feel held by the ground, to feel supported by something. So see if it's possible to become more aware of what it actually feels like to have solidness beneath you, holding your body. Just start there. It's simple. What does it feel like? What is the sensation of solidness beneath your body? Can you find that? If you're on a chair, that might mean there's a chair underneath your hips or pelvis and supporting the lower back. If you're sitting on the ground, that might be a sense of solid ground beneath the body. Just make sure you're comfortable for this. You don't need a special posture. You could even do this laying down. You need to be comfortable, or as comfortable as possible to begin. So make any adjustments as needed to your body, to your positioning, to your clothing, whatever you need so that you can come more into contact with feeling here, right now. Feel the solidness beneath you. Simple. Feel the solid sensation holding the body. And then from there, you can extend or expand your awareness up through the body to include the rest of the body that's being held right here. So this is like, again, an invitation to kind of float down away from your head, away from your thinking. You have to float down away from the thinking thoughts. Your attention, that means your attention literally has to come down away from the swirl of noise in your head and come down into your body. You might still be aware of thinking thoughts. That's okay. That's normal. It's expected. And at the same time, is it possible to be more in contact, at least more compared to where you were before, more in contact with what it feels like to have a body here? So you might slowly scan your awareness through your body and just kind of check what's going on. What's going on anywhere in the body is just for you to notice. You might notice sensations like tingling or flowing or warmth or coolness. You might notice tension or relaxation. You might notice openness or closedness. Doesn't matter. None of it's right or wrong. It's not like this one is preferred, so I need more of that one compared to that one. It's not like that. Just notice what sensations are available or present to notice. Notice how and where you feel those sensations in the body. And don't try to do anything with any of it. Don't try to change anything. Don't try to decrease something or increase something. Just if it's okay, just hold within your awareness whatever's there to experience, whatever sensations are there. If they're uncomfortable, then if it's okay, hold those sensations of discomfort. See what that's like. If you feel comfortable, same thing. Notice how and where you feel sensations of comfort. It's not an instruction to try to create the feeling of comfort or pleasure. It's an invitation to acknowledge and hold whatever is. No change. Just notice how the body shows up right now. That's all it is. If you feel agitated, notice how and where you feel agitated. If you feel anxious, how does anxiousness show up? But at the same time, see if you can also notice the solid feeling of being held by the ground. See if it can be both. So you can be aware of the feeling of the body, the sensations of the body, comfortable or not, pleasurable or not, neutral even. You might feel numb. The thing that might show up is, wow, I don't feel anything. I'm totally disconnected from my body. Disembodied. That's okay. That's a common, something to notice. Not something to make wrong, something to notice. And if that's the case, can you make contact with the ground again? For all of us, can you remain aware of the solid feeling of being held by ground? And at the same time, you're just holding or allowing or acknowledging whatever else is there to be acknowledged. Along with this, if it's possible, notice what the breath is doing. Notice what the breath is doing or not doing. That's not an instruction to change your breath or deepen it. Notice what the breath is doing. That's it. And so if it's possible, see if you can be aware of the feeling of solid ground beneath you. The feeling of breath moving or not moving. And the felt sense of the body or felt sense of numbness. If there's no feeling of body, awareness of numbness. And as you tune in this way, as you just simply make contact with what is, it's like an animal would. An animal doesn't say, I like this one, I don't like that one, this one's comfortable, that one's not. This one means that, that sensation means that. No, as you just simply make contact with the reality of what is, how does the body respond to that? How does the nervous system, it's another way of saying, how does the nervous system respond to you simply making contact with your own existence? Might be no noticeable change, might be some sort of shift, might be simply a noticing. As you slow down and take the time to just make contact with your own body, your own presence here, how does the nervous system respond? Assuming the space is safe and free from threat, you might notice the nervous system settling or calming but with that said, I know that this could also, all this stillness and tuning it could agitate some of us. If it's that foreign or that be too much. So just allowing whatever might be to be. Now, to take this further, when it feels right, I want you to include within your awareness the space of this room, which even without the eyes open, you might not feel ready to open the eyes, but you can hear sounds existing, you can orient to sounds. And see, as you make contact with the space of the room, see if you can do so while maintaining contact with your own self, with your own felt sense of here-ness or aliveness. So you're aware of yourself being held right there by that chair, existing right there as that collection of sensations and thinking, and also at the same time you're aware of sounds existing around you, inside or outside of this room. You might also be aware of smells, tastes, the touch of clothing or warm air or cool air. Just kind of taking in what is. That's it. Now, when you feel ready, if you haven't already done so, you may open your eyes to include the visual field of this room. And so as you do so, you can either just allow your gaze to softly rest on an object or group of objects, or you might choose, if it's more comfortable, to just slowly scan the room, really slowly though, so you feel your neck vertebrae moving as you do. And if you are looking around, you might allow your gaze to rest on different objects, but make sure that you're doing this very slowly so that you're not signaling to the nervous system that you're on high alert, like a little rabbit who's looking around so quickly with their eyes darting here and there. No, be more like a lion or lioness who's just resting in the tall grass, just kind of scanning around, looking around, no, assuming your space is safe, no care in the world. There might be particular objects that draw your attention that you're fond of or bring with them, like good feeling, good memories. It's nice. It's a nice resource to orient to. Or you could be like outside the window, there's these trees you love, or whatever. Really slowly though, if you are looking around, really slowly, really feeling even the neck vertebrae moving, and again watching to ensure that your eyes aren't moving ahead of you, aren't darting around. And see if it's possible at the same time as you orient to the space of this room or this environment, if you can maintain contact with your own self. See if you can maintain contact with the feeling of your own body, feeling of your own breathing, and the feeling of being held by the ground there. Now, as you do this, there's some things that you might want to pay attention to, like little signs that tell you that your nervous / energetic systems are kind of regulating or shifting downward a bit or becoming soothed by you orienting to this safe space. You might notice like a softening of tension, of armor. You might notice a yawn or an easeful breath that feels like kind of like nap, but not, it doesn't come by you trying. It's just kind of a natural feeling, little signs that the nervous system is doing something. A settling feeling, a gurgling in the belly, like you're digesting or like you're hungry. Feeling of warmth returning. Just notice for you, just as you orient, how does the body or nervous system respond to that? Cool. Now, if you're new to class with me and you're thinking, why the hell do you go so slow? Where's the next part to this? We do a handstand yet? No, we just don't. We go slow because the body, the nervous system likes to go slow sometimes. And when we do go slow, you'd be amazed at the things that come up. When we're able to actually slow down enough to make contact with the reality of what is, wow, is first a doorway to just greater sense of groundedness and aliveness. But also being there allows for old imprints, old tensions to bubble to the surface and pass away. So we're going to come here as many times as we allow ourselves. as many times as we remember, to orient to the reality of what is. That means if you're in at the busy mall, you arrive at a party, a social situation, you transition from work to home. Maybe you need to stop and orient as you arrive home, or as you go back to work and arrive there. Don't just rush through things. Stop and orient to that space. Give yourself, your nervous system, a chance to catch up. This especially applies for those of us who identify as being a ball of anxiety, who just rush like whirlwinds from this to that, to this to that, to this to that.